Without any further ado, I'll go ahead and formally open and welcome this evening's session. My name is Matt Lynch, and I serve as the Sustainability Director for the University of Hawaii System. And on behalf of UH, I'd like to welcome you and respectfully offer a land acknowledgement. Wherever you are today, we each of us still exist on land, not only through our screens in cyberspace. So please take a moment and look out of a window, take a breath, and sense your connection to this place. I recognize Hawaii as an indigenous place, and I ask us all to honor all Native Hawaiians, the ancestral descendants of these Aina, who have lived, played, laughed, loved, and taken care of the places of Hawaii for generations upon generations. Oops, I am speaking to you from my home in Kaimuki, in the Mo'o Kalahu, the Ahupua'a of Kapahulu, in the Moku of Kona, on the Mokupuni of Oahu, in the Pai'aina of Hawaii. I recognize that generations of Native Hawaiians and their indigenous ancestral knowledge systems have shaped Hawaii in sustainable ways that allow us to enjoy these gifts today. And for this, I am grateful. And as a settler ally, I seek to support the indigenous peoples of Hawaii to protect their lands and their communities. And I'm committed to dedicating time and resources to working in solidarity. Since January of this year, our office has been engaged in hosting a weekly think tank discussion hosted by Consilience Notes to address the question, how must the university transform to remain fit to its context? And COVID-19 has made conversations about sustainability, resilience, and the role of the university in Hawaii's future even more pressing. The hallmarks of sustainability, systems thinking, transdisciplinarity, and futures thinking, among others, are needed now more than ever to address rapidly changing social, cultural, political, economic, and environmental contexts. You are here because we are gathering in 7 sessions over these 4 days to think about how the university might transform to meet these times. Each of you holds unique experiences, perspectives, and expertise that is much needed. Here we are not our positions or our titles on an org chart. Here we gather as concerned humans who are privileged enough to have our basic needs and personal safety provided for. And we are fortunate to be able to gather as equals to contemplate together the uncertain futures which lay ahead. This is not a committee meeting, nor is it a brainstorming session. We are gathering from across our campuses and our communities in an exercise of collective transformation. We're here to get to know each other and to nurture relationships that will help us navigate forward. We're here to think big picture and to bring big thinking into the following 4 specific outcomes on your screen. Bouncing forward from the COVID crisis, crowdsourcing recommendations to provide decision support for senior leadership, inviting your participation in working groups for ongoing action, and seeking your feedback on draft sustainability policy updates, the links of which have been shared in emails throughout the week. And we're grateful to those of you who have been able to provide comments and input on it so far, and we're hopeful that many more of you will chime in. We'll also be recording today's session for later viewing. Tonight, our keynote plenary is with Ed.D. Aluli Meyer, who I am going to introduce you more properly to in just a moment. But first, please bear with me as I take another 5 minutes or so just to bring us current as to what has happened since the last time this group or a group like this gathered in person back in 2008 on Hawaii Island. COVID-19 has revealed with vivid resolution the many vulnerabilities in the dominant paradigm of extractive, unending economic growth, fueled by relentless global consumer culture, which prizes financial profits above life itself. The documentaries and read-ahead materials that were shared explore the ways that institutions of higher education are entangled in this web of unhealthy systems. Capitalism, colonialism, racism, sexism, you name the ism, and our discussions over the past few days have been designed to create a space for all of us to come together as members of the spectacular and often dysfunctional family who are lucky to call these islands home. Gathering in this way, virtual or in person, is an expression of our underlying guiding principle of working as a backbone organization in the Office of Sustainability that exists to complement, support, and enhance the many incredible efforts that are underway at our campuses and in our communities. In fact, the executive sustainability policy has its genesis in that same collective action, and goes back to 2013 when we gathered at West Oahu to review a draft of what is now EP 4.202. And each campus was invited to send a delegation of 10 or more folks representing their student body, their administration, their faculty, their staff, and even members of the communities that they served. It took another 2 years for us to complete the many, many rounds of listening sessions and input and feedback and subsequent drafts of the policy before it was formalized into policy with a swipe of President David Lasner's iPad back in 2015. And that policy, which we have been asking you to provide input on, is due to get updated, but it is very much written collaboratively by the collective that is the University of Hawaii. We managed to gather annually since 2013, all the way up until last year in 2018, where we convened again with representatives from all of our campuses to learn from each other and to learn from our friends and colleagues on Hawaii Island, and to learn from the Aina itself at Palamanui, in Kona, in Hilo, at Volcano, and even Mauna Awakea herself, as we drove from Kona to Hilo together, while Noelani Punivai shared with many of us who were lucky enough to be traveling in her bus some olelo of the landscapes that we were moving through. Contemporary sustainability initiatives in Hawaii have come a long way together. And we must also acknowledge that we have a long journey ahead of us in a world that's full of uncertainty and is subject to three fundamental converging trends of planetary instability and ecological decline, of the relentless advancing of Moore's law and computing power, which drives technology forth at ever increasing speeds. And these two trends combine to create this accelerated pace of change and social change in our societies. Climate change, of course, has already caused billions of dollars in damages from extreme weather events. Meanwhile, technologies such as artificial intelligence raise significant moral, ethical, and existential questions that civil society may not be equipped to respond to in the time frame that these technologies are advancing at. And today, all of these crises that we are facing together seem to be compounded by the prevailing disconnect between modern society and the natural world. We posit that these crises are rooted in the lack of understanding and engagement with the deeper meaning and value of place. Indigenous cultures and their systems and structures offer ways of being, thinking, and doing that can restore and sustain balance. An enriched sense of place offers both symbolic and empirical dividends to the communities it serves, and the vibrant culture that flourishes in harmony with the natural resources available to its people in Hawaii continues to offer a powerful and timely model for mutually beneficial relationships between human and the natural world in Hawaii and with the global community. Aloha Aina invites innovation and creativity in our academic and scholarly enterprises to transform students and to create engaged citizens who can care for our people and our places in order to serve our islands and our planet. Which brings us to our keynote speaker tonight. Dr. Manulani Aluli Meyer serves as Konohiki Kulana o Kapolei, a Hawaii Papa o Keao initiative, Hawaiian learning at University of Hawaii, West Oahu. Affectionately and respectfully known as Auntie Manu. Auntie Manu has had a deep and profound impact on my own personal and professional growth. And I am really proud and honored to count her among my mentors and my dear friends. And she is also a twin sister to the amazing artistic genius that is Auntie Mo, our beloved Auntie Mo. I didn't know this about Auntie Manu, but she apparently plays a mean blues on harmonica, and describes herself as an indigenous epistemologist dedicated to worldwide awakening and Hawaii's role. And lately, Auntie Manu's been giving a lot of thought to the potential hidden in these times and our growing role. So on behalf of all of us, welcome Auntie Manu. I'll turn it over to you and just let me know when you want me to advance your slides.
Alanaghahi amoy lanamalie aoya he io kumu he io lau he io lono ake alo e ho o ulu mai e ho o e ho o ulu ai ka ake aloha ake ake akamai ake akamai ino no kalahu. Happy May Day, everyone. Hello. So excited to be here. Aloha, everybody. You can now unmute your thing for 10 seconds and say
Aloha.
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 Yay, energy, 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 energy. Oh, Kealoha, Nalani, Ben.
Aloha, Manu.
Noi, aloha. Wow, thanks, you guys. Thanks. Yeah, I just so appreciate this opportunity. Matthew and Krista, thank you. Thank you. Because we've got lots of work to do, okay? Because this is the Tita talking. And you guys have been, most of us have been in and out of the last 3 days, and some amazing, amazing discussions and amazing, amazing ideas have been shared. I so appreciate the people that have been brought in front of us, and the people that we bring inside of us, and the people that we are. So let's go. Now, before Matt puts on the old images, I had a little talk with Krista and Matt the other day, and I said, what is the key idea? And they gave me 3 ideas. So we're just going to talk about 3 ideas, but they're going to be contextualized within these times, because, oh my goodness, are we in the Huliau. We're in the time of radical transformation. And this is why we're meeting, because we're going to learn how to get to know each other in different ways. So I want us to all look at each other's names, look at each other's locations. I mean, feel the potential of higher education connecting as friendships. But when I talked to Matt and Krista, they said 3 things, and I did do the, I'm an epistemologist, so I did took the 3rd thing and did the feminine twist to it. But the 3 areas that Krista and Matt suggested are the following. Because of the needs of our time, I'm calling them the 3 R's: relevance, resonance, and relationship. And so, you know, it's not a cheeky, easy thing to talk about. Things of quality are really meant to be expressed and amplified in our very essence. So Matt, can you bring out the first idea, and then let's just all think about it. Okay, first one is relevance. Yeah, well, those are huamo'o, and I just want to say those are images of our future. They were elements of war, and now I give them out as peace, the expansion of peace in our people, forgiveness, collaboration. It's time to radically collaborate with each other, and we mean it. We mean it. When you see us, we begin to see you, and we need to be clear about what that looks like. So Matt, your land acknowledgement was so special. Really, mahalo. It's May Day. We love our Aina because we call our Aina Ku'aina Aloha, the land that has never not loved us, the land that has always loved us. And so when we return to that obvious affection, then there's relevance. So let's get to the first slide, Matthew. The first slide is Makahana Ka'ike. Now, by the way, everyone thinks it is only by learning we're doing. No, it really is deeper. It's deep. It's Shakespeare deep. By my actions, teach my mind. If someone has to ask, is this the pono thing? I always say, now that's rhetorical. Don't ask, do it. So this is what I want to start with, that even as old a document as the I Ching, they're saying the same thing differently. And that is found in the holographic idea that we are all the same differently. Okay, you got to put different in there. And now, because that difference makes a difference, it is now time to ask the people that have survived against all odds. Ask us. We do have people, places, ideas, and practices. By my actions, teach my mind. Makahana ka'ike. Knowing comes from experience. The experience, the experiment of knowledge production in a linear sequence, rational only, predictable, empirical way. Those days are waning. Feel that. Feel that. And be patient with people who don't. That's where the kapu aloha comes in. Next slide. So the first word is relevance. I love that word. I love that all these words happen to be nouns. I thought they were verbs, you know, I honestly do. And by the way, they are, you know, technically they're nouns, but everything's a verb. You see that the coherence of that image? That's over in Ka'ava. Isn't that amazing? So it's the quality or state of being closely connected or appropriate. We must and we are making our knowledge systems relevant again. Because if they're not going to last. If they're not relevant to the needs and to the priorities of this time, please reconsider your occupation. Do something different. And for those of us dedicated in a way that allows us to rethink what we've done in the past and be more relevant, be more connected to the energy, the pulse, the priorities of the time, the center of that is and has always been love of land. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I wonder what it is. You know, we made a master's in Aotearoa at Tiwanago Aotearoa, and every single student had to convince us how their master's project, thesis, and writing and research, how the Genesis touched land. And they all scratched their heads like, what? And it was easy, but once you figure it out, that land, our mother, is the origin of our very essence, then relevance is easy. You've just got to suspend your disbelief that Aina is Papa, and Papa Tuanuku, Papa Hanau Mea. Papa is our mother. Uncle Leroy Little Bear said to me, she is not a metaphor. She is our mother. And that changed everything for me. It's not a metaphor. It's not like mother, like, oh, nice metaphor. She is our mother. So relevance is key. The first R, okay? It's not a noun, it's technically a noun, but you add the radical empirical world and the subjective world and the consciousness of it that intentionality invokes, and you have verbs. It is a verb because when you inhabit the ideas that make your thinking, your curriculum, your evaluation relevant, your students will run to your class. Our universities will have a future. We have to be relevant. Second slide, please. I've got 20 minutes. Yay, look at that. Ah, I love that image. That's called the flower of life, and that's one of the oldest images in the world. Resonance. Unbelievable idea, Matt. Thank you for bringing us to resonance. Resonance happens when something over here goes like this, and then all of a sudden, what happens on this side goes like that. It is a miracle of energy to actually elevate the frequencies with your own character. So with my students, there's no such thing as they. If only they could do this, if only they could do that, if only they, there's no they. The resonance is ma'anei, malohone. It is with me. Oya, vale, no. We have to resonate. We can resonate. Resonate is this quality in physics that when the resonance occurs, when the amplitude of an object's oscillations are increased by the matching vibrations of another object. That's why Halimakua, our matakite, our kaula of Mokokeave, he said, Manu, don't waste your time. Run with like minds. Run. And you know, he didn't say minds that think alike at all. He said run with like minds. So this is why the Sensor Gang, we had such a fun time last year. You know, we've got to run now. We've got to collaborate with unusual people, but they are meant to have a resonance. We're meant to not need to, we're not meant to distrust others. We're meant to trust. And that energy, the trusting energy, the knowing that you can handle. My friend Kuka calls that the luau model. Meaning, can you imagine, Punihe, if you go to the luau and you see uncle and you're wondering, you know, is he heating the rocks? Does he need different rocks? Do they need to be hotter? You know, so am I gonna come over and to tell uncle, you know, uncle, you need more rocks? You know, like don't ask, he knows. Trust that, you know, the luau model is the ability to resonate without doubt, to know without fear, and to keep giving, because kokua aku kokua mai, the gift is found in the giving. That's the verb. So resonance, you know, relevance, resonance. We've got to run with like minds. That's why this virtual conference is vital and key, and potentially the turning point of our evolution in Hawaii's higher systems of learning, because we have the capacity to do what Einstein's begged the world to do. He begged us to figure out a different consciousness. You know what I mean? The consciousness that solves a problem cannot be the same consciousness that developed it. That is about resonance. It's not about objectives. It's not about, you know, it's not tit for tat. It's something much deeper, older, wiser. And it's about the transference of energy. And that trust begets trust. That trust begets trust. That trust begets trust. But you got to be ready and able to participate in the excellence that you know you are. And don't worry about mine. You know what I mean? I can handle mine, you know. Auntie, get the squid luau over there. Uncle, get the, you know, the pig over there. You got to trust. Now that's an old model. Resonance is key. And then and then changes occur. I've been in so many events where miracles happen upon miracles, upon miracles, upon miracles, because people loved and trusted each other. We can do this. We have to do it collectively, but with our own individual excellence. So that's resonance, from the Latin resonantia, echo, and from resonare, resound. Isn't that beautiful? Anyways, third slide, please, Matthew. Oh, Kilo, do you see yourself in there? Oh my gosh. Relationship. You know, Matthew said he wanted action. And there is a gender to epistemology. I love talking about gender and epistemology because you cannot have action without relationship. You know, you could stand at the side of the road with your own sign and do it yourself with their own sign. But if society is going to transform, it is called mutual emergence. We do it mutually. The Buddha said the same thing, Paticca Samuppada. We do it dependent co-arising, said the same thing. Christ said the same thing. All ancient systems are saying the same thing. We all go or nobody goes. So this is why the Hawaiian ideal, the Hawaiian culture and indigenous ways of knowing is key. I'm not a political animal, but everything that we do when we love land, or we olelo Hawaii, or when we speak of our principles and values, people think it's a political act. It ultimately is in an antagonistic world. But, you know, don't fear. We're not saying we want to separate. We want to be strong. We need to heal. And our healing will heal Hawaii. And Hawaii, I know, I feel it in all my bones, will heal the world. But here it is again, the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected. Every single word has the synonym of connection. I mean, it is so imperative that we understand the frequency, vibration, and purpose and quality of connection. I really have been in so many meetings where people go, and the most important thing is relationships. I'm like, yeah, well then, it's the quality of relationships, not the fact of them. We've all got to forgive. I got to forgive myself every day for doing that poorly. And then get on the kinipopo. Forgive myself, forgive others. But relationship, totally. Okay, next one. I think we're in the last, oh, here it is. Okay, those of you who read Holographic Epistemology, Native Common Sense, this is kind of a summary of it, and I needed to include it because all of a sudden, all those connections, Matt, it was amazing. Connect. It was as if the world is giving us the answers. It's been right in front of us all along, that it is about the quality of how we connect with each other. It's about the quality of how we see the issues, how we respond. It's about the quality of how we respond and see and recognize patterns. Koau, kokoi, kokoi, koau. I am you, and you are me. That's connection. So we're learning from the post-quantum physics realities that the world is not simply an external reality. It is connected to my internal consciousness. Absolutely. Whether you call it the Makawalu, Indra's net, the divine milieu, Whakapapa, I love to call it Awamo Kuleana. And it is a mystical idea. Our Hawaiians, our Ike Kupuna, absolutely vital for these times. Awamo Kuleana for me means collective transformation through individual excellence. Then you can connect. You see the connection. Ao is channel, amo is like joy. It's basically orgasm. I love that about this word. The channel of procreative orgasms. Yeah, come on. You're not laughing right now. Come on. So what it means is everybody, when they're at their pinnacle of joy, we meet each other and we resonate with each other because we're in each other's field of reference. We're in each other's frequency of joy, and joy amplifies in its own accord. It amplifies. You know, stop doubting in our potential. Dig a hole and plant something. Don't fear that death is totally inevitable. Don't fear. You know, be clear about the imprint and the passion of what love is in our lives. Because after all this work that we've been doing in the world of philosophy and Hawaiian, you know, this and that, I have learned one thing, that aloha is our true intelligence. And you know, people think, oh, that's nice and quaint. It is so more than that. It is so more than that. It is instructed and inspired every single moment of my day, and helped me connect, even through my own sorrow and dysfunction, to see things in different ways. So let's close this discussion with a couple more slides, Matthew. Okay, so I'm thinking to myself, okay, wait, now here's the time. Time to give some radical ideas. And it's not so radical as they are relevant, they resonate, and they develop quality relationships. If we simplify, you know what I mean? The idea that we are wanting to get is we can simplify complexity around a purpose. And when we do that, then that purpose is like the hub of a wheel. It begins to turn. And it's this inside of a sphere. It actually begins to help us move productively. When we put love of land at the center of our knowing, that is where the mo'o lives. Mo'o, of course, is our word for succession. It's our word for continuity. Mo'olelo, mo'okuauhau, mo'opuna. So love of our aina, of our waters, of our spaces, of the places that we have relationship with because of the flowers, the aromas, the vistas, the surf. Oh my gosh, we love this place. We love this place. Let that love activate the continuity that it is always purposed to be, so we can be of service to the world. Because aloha aina, you know, the spirit of this place is aloha aina. We love the land because the land is ku'u aina aloha. And that creates our spirit. You know what I mean? And by the way, the ancient color of love is blue. So, you know, blue sky, blue water, it's that blue thing going on. And I'm telling you, I grew up with blue sky, blue water. And, you know, when you digest that into your molecules, you got something different. And so for us, land and people, to be of service, love of land, service of people, or service to land, love of people, it's the same thing. And that is found in our aloha spirit. And so love is the human expression of spirit. Spirit, like Auntie Lynette Puglinawan always says, the powers that be, the powers that be, the powers that be. You know, you don't have to be religious, but you got to know that spirit is at the center of the universe, and at the center of spirit is aloha. And I love that. All our native peoples from around the planet speak of spirit or creator. Walking the red road, good red road. It is an unbelievable, clear ethic of pono that they aspire to, that we hold also, but we call it aloha. The aloha spirit is our shared cultural practice, all of ours. It's not just Hawaiians at all. It's all of ours. And can you imagine that if we really recognize the power, the potency, and the purpose of aloha, we have the potential of healing the planet. And I've seen it work over and over and over and over again. When aloha is at the center of our being, Halimakua says it like this: truth is the highest goal, and aloha is the greatest truth. Next slide, and final slide. let's think of these questions, because these questions, there's Louis Herman's class. Hi, Louis. Do you see him tucked in the back there? The final questions, just to think about as we prepare for our group discussions and the questions that Krista and Matt have for us. How do we amplify the brilliance that is Hawaii within our systems of higher learning? We're so brilliant. We're so brilliant that it's now, now you guys are asking. Now we gotta, come on, we're flushing ourselves out. Come on, Nalani, Punihe, come on, Kiloha. It's time, my hila hila. We're coming out. It's time. And it's not a ho'oyo moment. We simply must be clear about our shared purpose. Because how do we radically collaborate? Because mutual emergence, that's the thing about life. We emerge mutually. We don't emerge individually. So awamu kuleana, it means, of course, to carry your responsibility, but it also means at the Noahuna level that our responsibilities, if we take them on in a spirit of confidence, courage, and commitment and intentionality, that creates an evolutionary like explosion. You know what I mean? That is energy. I don't have to wait for money. I am wealth. You know what I mean? Like today we spent listening to Indrajit talk about his love of coconuts. You know what I mean? It was so cool. It was so cool. We are mutually emerging. We must find and nurture and feed those people that resonate with you. Because what is the quality of relevance, resonance, and relationship in your own life? In your own life. Please begin to see yourself as the center of the evolution, because you are. See yourself as the center of the healing element of your ohana, because you are. And let's see ourselves collectively, shall we? And let's have a great conversation. So mahalo e ke akua, na kini akua, na auma kua, na kupuna o ke vahi puna hele, o ke aina kupa e na mahalo nui. Mahalo, everybody.
Mahalo, Manu. Oh my goodness. You can see everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. That was really just such medicine and so much nourishment. It's amazing how you took me from my very rushed preamble to try to frame everything, and I can feel my heart rate has just dropped and is now resonating so much more strongly. Yeah, I really want to thank you there's so much gifts in that. We have about 20 minutes together to talk story. So I'm gonna throw it back to you, and how would you like to do this? We could
Well, I'd like to ask Krista. Krista, thoughts?
I am keeping track of the time, and we had allotted 30 minutes to go into the first breakout session for the retreat, and then you wanted to do share outs. To stay on that schedule, we have time for a few comments with Auntie Manu, but it's up to what you all want to do, of course.
Yeah, so I think we've got to tonight's session is till 9, and so tomorrow's is an hour and a half. So basically at 8 we'll go for a half hour in breakout discussions, and then we'll come back together and we have 20 minutes to share out, and then 10 minutes at the end. So I actually loved, Manu, what you did before, and just like invited everybody to unmute. I want to also invite folks to share whatever questions in the chat as well. That seems to be a really great way. So also you can just raise your hand and we can call on you. Anybody have any questions for Manu?
Any questions, any ideas, I am available for you. Da 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 da.
I just want to say how much I love you, Manu, which you already know. But what Manu does, I think, for all of us is embody the oneness that is at the center of our knowledge, which is aloha ike kahi ike kahi. That there's all-pervading, consciously communicating consciousness in all of life. And that's how life communicates. And when we bring our human intelligence in alignment with nature intelligence, then we begin the journey of all life on the cosmic level, which is the level that we inherited, the level in which we began through our ancestors being on the Aina at that time, 6,000 years ago, or however timeless, amount of time it was, to observe the cosmos as the cosmos teaches us. And in the ensuing 6,000 years, civilizations develop and people forget the cosmos. But the cosmos itself is cradling the earth. And the earth is the reflection of all of that. So when we're told by our kupuna, like Manu said, that aloha is the greatest power of the universe and can heal all, it's that embodiment that we have, which she, expresses to us because she has breathed it in and does embody it, that we all carry. So no matter what political differences or different kumu or different perspectives on this or that, that isn't what's important now. What's important now is mastering the oneness of the knowledge of one, of all connectedness. So mahalo,
Nice.
mahalo.
Keep aloha, Ihoa. Keep aloha.
Mahalo. I've been, one thing that's still resonating is when you were talking, Manu, about recognizing patterns and then responding, especially when I'm thinking about mutual emergence. We are witnessing a lot of really emergent responses to our changed world. And I've been wondering a lot about what are specific, me, I'm going to do the actions again, but what are the specific ways that we can help to more intentionally cultivate that emergence, so that we can be translators and bring it forth as individuals, but also as a collective.
Matt, you're doing it right now. You're doing it right now. I just want you to bear witness. In the hologram, if you guys read the holographic epistemology piece, the hologram for evaluation is measurement, reflection, and witnessing. So when our Cree Kupuna or Kupuna up in Canada, they give me a quarter and they say, please bear witness to what you're going to experience and then share what you learned. I need to witness that you're doing it right now. And so the capacity to trust that the work that you continually do and the quality in which you do it has its own resonance. See, if you don't, it begins to waver in a way that's not confident. So intentionality, I love that you use intentionality, because intentionality is the hallmark of consciousness. And that is that idea changed my life, because you are intentional. You have a capacity that is profound. When we turn to you and we throw the ball to you, you catch it, and then you give it. Krista and you do amazing things. And so when you said action and Krista said relationship at the same time, that's the epistemology of gender. The papa, the feminine receives, the masculine is about action. And everyone thinks we got to do. No, the doing is actually a communion with energetic fields that we must begin to recognize. And I need to let you know that your field is operating at a high frequency. So now you have to trust that a little bit more, young man, and really get that your excellence is its own reward. So just keep keep steady. And you know what? Please just stay steady, and other people will be influenced by your steadiness, not by our badgering that you got to do this, this, and this. It's not going to work that way. It works through love. Love is a rigorous, definitive action of trust and relationality. But yeah, you got it. You just go ask Krista. Krista, what should I do?
Mahalo.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
I think Punihe had a question or comment.
Thanks, Krista. Yeah, a while ago. Thank you, Auntie Manu. I have maybe it's an action related question too. I'm not sure. When you were talking, I was thinking about people who push back, who perhaps are fearful or angry. Yeah. And I was wondering what your approach has been. I'm sure you've met a few of those in your life, and what your approach has been in order to take your own course so that you can kind of maintain your own quality of, you know, the interaction of relevance, resonance, and relationships within yourself.
Punihe, thanks for that question. I've had to become, I'm a practitioner of different philosophies and spirit traditions. And I practice every day, and I practice every moment. And I've learned by a noho, you know, I don't have very many mystical things happen to me except every day, but this noho actually came into me, swear to God, because I was angry. I shouted at 8 different people about 10 years ago in 3 months. So I sat down with a friend. I said, why am I angry? And then within like 30 seconds, this noho went inside of me and spoke out of my mouth and said the following. Now this changed my life. So I want you to hear this. Anger. You know, because I yelled at 8 different people, and I was yelling at them. And I just thought, wow, I'm a woman of, you know, why am I doing this? I'm not that. But anger came into me, and this voice, and I couldn't lift up my hands, in the chair, so I knew a noho was inside of me. The voice changed. I didn't see everything turned white, and the voice said, I am anger, because my friend said, who are you? And the voice said, I'm anger, but you've named me wrong. I'm the spark of life. I'm the beginning of time. You must understand me differently. And that's changed me the most, to understand that I do not have to be angry to speak my truth. Because all I was doing by yelling at those 8 people was telling my truth, but I just thought I had to be angry. So that's what I learned in my life, because I haven't had good role models for communication. So when the energy of life comes into you and says, you have named me wrong, I mean, you must understand me differently, you bet I pay attention. And so, yeah, I have been changed by mystical experiences that have not been, that have not been really, I mean, that have changed my life completely. And that is that is why, ho'okahi la'au he mihi, you know what I mean? The first medicine is forgiveness. And so that's helped me more than anything too. So these are disciplines, these are spiritual disciplines. And this is why the holographic epistemology piece, the synonym for it is native common sense, because the spiritual aspect of knowledge production is actually at the key of how we're going to help the society evolve. And the spiritual side is the transspatial, quiet, joyful, aloha, understanding, still. These are synonyms for the spiritual realities of life. And when they come and attack us now, I just look at them and go, brah, you know, you need some water? You know what I mean? You know, you flip it, brah. You okay? A guy, you know, goes in front of me at the freeway, and I'm like, oh, he must be really, like, his child must be sick. You know what I mean? I don't get drawn into the drama of that energy anymore, because it's just a discipline, and because love is at our center. When you really, really practice that, everything changes, and I laugh at myself now. So yeah, makahana ka'ike, let us practice this resonance together. Yeah, it's really good to see you, Pumihe. You're like my role model. You know that. You're like my favorite. Thanks. La la la. Any more questions you have on Lady? It's May 1st and all your rent was due today. Did you pay it? We hope you did.
Aloha, Auntie
Is that
Manu.
it, Chris? Yeah, who's that?
This is Ben Trevino.
Hi, Ben.
Hi.
Hi, Ben.
I have a question that I've been wondering as you've been talking. Everything was so beautiful. We're here to talk about the university and higher learning, where I think we're all gathered here because we have some love of the university. What draws us to the university? Why did I come back here tonight?
Yeah, you know why? Because my friends are here. And yeah, this is a really important discussion because the world is collapsing and the universities are losing relevance. And Matt is correct. Krista is these guys are on the path, and we're learning about resonance. And there's not the technical stuff that I need to know now. I'm here because of our shared purpose. The Popol Vuh, the ancient Mayan text said, we did not first bring our ideas together, we brought our purposes together. And we agreed, then we decided. So this is an energetic field. We came together because we share a similar purpose. We do. And you know, we don't even have to state it, but it could be stated in many simplistic ways. Simplistic is not, simple is not simplistic. It's the idea that we love our land and we want to be of service to systems of higher learning. We can absolutely help this university and community colleges and spaces of higher learning regain their balance. I mean, believe me, I've been at this for 30 years, Ben. It's not like it's gonna happen tomorrow, but it's already happened. We've gathered. You're here, Friday night. You know what I mean? Intentionality is the hallmark of consciousness, Husserl said. We are beginning to gather our consciousness together because we're running now with like minds. And our university's gotta change. I've been saying this for years and years and years and years. So the fact that you guys are on this path, I'm like, yeah, the party's on. We've been saying this for years. You know what I mean? And so let's help it change. Let's help it change. Well, first of all, we got to believe it has an obligation and a kuleana to change. And then it's our university. It's not like it's somebody else's. This is our state university, our state community college systems. It's ours. It's ours. And, you know, frankly, we're developing, I'd love to develop alternative systems as we did in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Those guys, they just took a left-hand turn and just made their own systems for 60,000 people. I mean, they were radical. These guys are radical. And I love working for Te Wānanga o Aotearoa. Unless somebody wants to do that with me, yeah, then this is what we have. So let's make it work. Yeah, that's why we're here, because you're here, Ben.
I would follow you, Manu. Here we go.
Here we go, Matthew.
So, Katie Kamelamela wrote a beautiful little mihi here in the comments I want to read out so that you can hear it. She says, I mihi you and your vulnerability to share your truth so openly here. And she gives you a big heart. And Patricia asks if you can talk more about bringing spirituality into higher education, and maybe that will be our last question for this portion of tonight.
This is a spirit-driven conversation right here. People, when you let Hawaiians in a room, or you let, you know, people like me in a room, you know, it gets goofy. So joy is at the center of spirit. Trust is at the center of spirit. Spirit is about love. Love is the human element of spirit, the human expression of spirit. So if you could kindly read the holographic epistemology piece, in there we link spirituality with the post-quantum sciences and the ideas of transspatial realities, because it is really a rigorous capacity to develop your spiritual understanding and be able to express it in your teaching, in your evaluation, in your climate of the class, in the climate of where you work. Spirituality is not religion. Religion, I say, is the bureaucracy of spirituality. Spirit is the grandmother, and spirit knows what she's doing. Spirit is he, she, mother, father, brother, sister, rocks, star. It is not a noun. Spirit is verb or verbs. It's a quality. So that's why spirit in academia is all we got to do is be clear, and no matter what they say, it is now the future of rigorous scholarship is to bring in the transspatial realities and the heightened awareness of what consciousness does to matter. We know it makes a difference. So please read that piece. And I think my email is on the end of that piece. I'm happy to answer questions on what the hologram means to epistemology and the future of scholarship, research, and education, and especially systems of higher learning. But thank you for the question. And Katie.
So gang, I'm gonna invite you all to just unmute for a moment so that we can all mahalo Manu collectively and me, her, and really help her feel the love that we have for
Hi,
her.
Aloha.
Love you,
Josh.
Manu.
Hi, Mary. Hello.
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 Aloha. Mahalo.
Thanks, you guys. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Aloha mai. Pomalie. Pomalie.
That's really beautiful. So I'm going to transition us to the next component of our program tonight. But before I do, Manu, one of the many things that one of the many ways that you've shaped me and influenced me is in the practice of mihi. And so I'm gonna attempt a mihi here for you. The huamo'o that you gifted me, I carry with me sometimes literally, every day figuratively, and that has really been, has given me strength in some really deep and dark places that I have ventured to in the past year. And the ways that you have incepted, I don't know if they're ideas, they're resonances that you have incepted in me, that I am only now beginning to bear witness to them emerging, which leads to more wonderings. And it's done so artfully and with such love, such deep, deep love, that it really has moved and continues to move me every single day. And so you are with me always. I think of you often, even though we don't get to spend the time face to face that I am hopeful that we are able to one day. And I just really want you to know how much you have shaped me, how much you continue to nourish me and so many others. And I want you to know how much resonance and love and aloha that I personally, and I know so many of us, carry for you. So mahalo. Okay, thank you. I'm going to shift gears a little bit and give us all some directions as to what's going to happen next. So Krista has got, hi mom, my mom is tuning in. That's great. Everybody say hi, Auntie Selena. It's great to have you here, mom. Okay, that's not distracting at all. I can do this. Krista has set us up for breakout sessions. So in just a moment, you're going to see on your screen a prompt that says click here to join breakout session. I got the email out later than I had hoped to, with specific directions and some additional resources. So if you haven't had a chance to read that email, don't worry about it. I'm going to give you the directions here. You may want to pull that email up. If you are a fan of using Google Docs, we have actually set up a Google Doc for each breakout session tonight. Our intention is to have more of this face-to-face discussion and authentic dialogue together. And so for many of you, this will be enough. For those of us who want the additional option to do a chat or to comment directly into the Google document, that option is available to you, but don't feel obligated to have to do that. It's just, I know that some of us really appreciate having that option as well. We have designated one of our amazing vistas. We have 6 vistas with us tonight who are nearing their end of 1 year of volunteer service at 6 different campuses. And the 7th vista, Navin, now works for our office and is running our tech tonight. So big shout out to all of you. So each working group has a vista assigned to be your note taker. Because as you've seen from the notes that we've shared out from our group, and no, Dave, that's a terrible idea for asking my mom to share stories about me. That's for another time. She's got some good ones. Anyway, so vistas will be taking notes, and then we have some brave volunteers or voluntold. I'm not exactly sure how to distinguish, but some of our friends and colleagues have bravely agreed to host those discussions, and we've prepared each of them with a little script so that there's some type of coherence and framework for the discussions that we're going to have. We've allocated a half hour, and I've already taken up 5 minutes of that. So I just will close by acknowledging and by way of introduction, acknowledge each of the hosts for each session. So Christine Buell will be hosting the teaching, learning, and curriculum session. Justin Menina will be hosting the student engagement session. I'm sorry, Christine Buell serves as the director of the Gen Ed office at UH Manoa. Justin is a BA candidate in political science and economics at the College of Social Science at UH Manoa. Yes, Punihe Auntie Manu will be here and may even be jumping into one of the breakout sessions. Ireland Derby, who's our AmeriCorps Vista Campus and Sustainability Resilience Fellow at West Oahu, has bravely agreed to host our session for community engagement, as has Hannah Emery, who serves at UH Manoa. And Hannah will be hosting the research working group. And finally, Punihe Lipe is hosting the leadership and shared governance conversation. I shared more details about this newer working group. The initial communications that went out had cultural connections. You can refer to the email for more details on why we chose to replace that working group with leadership and shared governance, and have redesigned some of the question, or the guiding question tonight in the breakout session, so that this idea of cultural connections and our responsibilities to the native peoples of Hawaii can be woven across the different focus areas of our discussion. So before we go into the breakout sessions, I'll just check back in with Krista. Is there anything I've missed there?
No, that sounds good.
Leadership, really, this idea about how do we make sure we know what our values are first, whether we're the leader of our family, the leader of our classroom, the leader of the university, and to be really in that so that we can use that to navigate. How do we help ourselves? How do we help each other do that better? I'll stop there.
Thank you. That was wonderfully modeled too. I think we combined our community engagement and student engagement working groups. Is that right? Can someone from there share out?
I can share. I think there's.
Oh, no, my apologies. No, my apologies. No, please go ahead first.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, no, it was a lot of really, really good conversations. I have 3 dotted little notes. One with decolonization of ideas and government structures, and a lack of universities teaching real life skills, such as the term adulting, and a need for addressing transitions for what our students are going through, future students and present students as well. So yeah, it's really good.
Awesome, thank you. Justin, anything you want to add to that?
Well, thank you. Although we didn't really formulate any specific questions at this moment in time, we really engaged, myself and Nathan had a really interesting discussion on how the university how the UH system as a whole can really, within great substance, develop student engagement programs and also processes. So I shared from my own examples, Students for Sustainable Saunders. We also looked at how students, for example, like with a UH or Manoa-wide composting program could be, or recycling program could be developed to not only be substantively effective, but also benefit students in a manner that teaches them certain policy, teaches them also real material skills as well too. I mean, those are some of the broader abstract ideas that we had in mind, but we're looking at discussing it more later tomorrow though.
Great, thank you so much. I understand that our research group wound up jumping in with, I think, what became our open group. Is that right? Or
Open was community.
okay. So I'm lost now. Who wants to share next?
I'll go next. So I was part of the teaching, learning, and curriculum group. We had a really good conversation about how uncomfortable but necessary it is to bring emotionality and spirituality into the classroom. We talked about interdisciplinarity, which over the course of our conversation became a corollary for creativity, right? So how are we going to help our students to do things and know things and learn things that we can't even imagine, right? Interdisciplinarity is an incomplete way, right, of capturing this within an academic context, but creativity, right? How can we foster the courage it takes, right? For an 18-year-old who's gotten really good at the system, what do you want me to know? Is this going to be on the test, right? To allow him or herself to really foster creativity.
Thanks, Christine. I think that's all our working groups that we had. Have I missed anybody? Great. Oh, great. We're getting through this. Awesome, gang. We probably could have given you another 5 minutes for those discussions. That's okay though. That means that we have 5 more minutes together. Krista, I'm gonna kick it back to you just to talk about some logistics and what, like, for tomorrow and tomorrow night. And then if Manu's still with us, maybe we can invite Manu to close us out with some final thoughts for the night. Go ahead, Krista.
Well, don't kick anything back to me. Just send it gently.
Thanks for the reminder. I'm doing better with my nonviolent language, but I'm glad you're there to keep me capable.
Okay, so preview for tomorrow. The plan is, again, we have the 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock. We send a Zoom link for office hours. This is just a time to drop in anytime during that hour. If you have a thought that you'd like to share with Matt or myself, we talk about the policy update documents, or if you'd like to rendezvous with your breakout room friends and go chat that way, we can make that available tomorrow at 12. Tomorrow evening is a big powerhouse working session. We will do 2 long extended breakout rooms. So the idea was that we would do 1 more breakout room in these working groups. And I did screenshot tonight's groups, and I think I could set them up more efficiently next time. And then we would do another breakout group with a mixed kind of a jigsaw so that ideas could cross-pollinate. And what we're hoping is that you're sharing in these groups things you heard in earlier sessions or conversations this week, ideas you have been thinking about from the films, Ivory Tower and Higher Education, if you've had a chance to watch those, any of the readings that you want to recommend or discuss, so that it's you who bring all of those wonderful resources together. So that's the plan tomorrow. That's at 5 o'clock from 5 until 6:30. It's a slightly shorter session, 90 minutes tomorrow.
Thanks, Krista. Yeah, so tomorrow's builds from this evening. If all the details of that didn't stick, don't worry, it's late. It's been a long week, totally get it. And we will be setting you up with some clear instructions again tomorrow. And we're grateful for our wonderful and brave hosts who will be joining us again tomorrow. And we'll have some new hosts as well tomorrow to introduce you to. Other last piece I have is, if you have thought of any readings that you think would make sense to add to our list, please don't hesitate to send them our way. You can just email them directly to Krista and I. We would be happy to include that. And if you have a link, it's easier for us to post that link onto the website. If you have the PDF, I have a folder on my laptop that I collect all of these wonderful readings in, and I'd be grateful for it. But either way, the link or the doc, anything that you want to add to this collection. Yeah, so that's all from us. I'm going to turn it back to Auntie Manu for some closing thoughts to send us to Nai, to Moi Moi this evening. Here you go. Mahalo.
Well, mahalo, Matt. Mahalo, Krista. Punihe, you did a great job. I'd like to just tell Toko what Noi is saying for emails so that people can begin to talk to each other in different formats. It's a great suggestion, Noi. What I learned in our group, gang, is that we are now in a time to define our principles. When we do not agree, or our principles are shaped around our purpose, you know. So you know, it's so interesting, that strategic plan that Punehe reminded is actually a very important idea. But if we don't know what it is, we at UH West Oahu have an incredible pahuhopu that Mainette Benham has helped us think through. And I think it's a valuable, priceless idea, but I'm led by principles, you know? I'm led by principles, I'm led by values, because that's where the mo'o lives, that's where continuity lives. So there's something about the nature of our times that are begging us to really articulate our principles, our values, our priorities. And when we do that, everything else is simple. And so I learned that from listening to everybody in our breakout group, that we're basically saying the same thing differently. What is it that we value? And I heard that people couldn't agree in a certain leadership session in the history of UH Manoa. So I'm just waiting for things to collapse. And gosh, they are. So now's the time. And so the ability for us to I don't know, to get to know each other, to get to trust. Let's suspend disbelief in our capacity, our collective capacity. And when we can do that effectively, then a spiritual resonance will begin and awamu kuleana will happen. But you got to have something to participate in. You got to know your kuleana well, and don't come over to mine and say what I'm not doing, because that's my ho'oi. I know who I am. I know what I can contribute. So I learned a lot today. Punehe is a brilliant facilitator, Punehe. That is really beautiful. And I love that you talk fast. It's because you've got stuff to say. So yeah, never apologize for the clarity. Never, ever, ever again, ever. And so I really want to end by singing. And everyone, take your thing off. Take your muting off, and let's sing the Oli Mahalo together. Now, here's resonance. Resonance is, you don't need to know the words, okay? You just need to feel the concept of gratitude for Matt, for Krista, for their parents, their grandparents, their great-grandparents, because they have brought us here today. And so everyone, take your mutes off. Let's just, let's be positively annoying, and let's sing the Oli Mahalo. And if you don't know the lyrics, just hum or just ho'olono, listen and hear. All we're saying over and over is thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So Matt and Krista and all the facilitators, thank you. Thank you. So in closure, let's sing the Oli Mahalo in gratitude for tonight. Uhola ia kamakalo ala Uai ke alohala Kuka ia kahalo ala Havehi mai na lehuma Mai kaho o kuia kahala vaila Mahalo e na Mahalo e na kunala ea Mahalo me ke alohala Mahalo me alohala
Mahalo.
Yeah. Everyone, moi moya, sweet dreams. Moi moya.
Mahalo.
Thanks, Matt.
Komalie.
Mahalo.
Bye.
Komalie.
Aloha.
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 Aloha.